In today's episode, LEGO Star Wars 2025 sets. Would I join LAN and a £5,000 LEGO set? Welcome to the second episode of AFOL vs Uni, my brand new Q&A series where you can ask me anything to do with LEGO Star Wars or my life as a drama school university student. Leave any questions in the comments and let's get into it. Jedi Bricks wants to know which LEGO Star Wars 2025 set I'm most looking forward to. Now, of course, all the sets that are rumored haven't been confirmed by LEGO, so we should take them with a pinch of salt. But if these rumors are true, then the set I'm most looking forward to is the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1. I think it's insane that LEGO would even consider doing this as a UCS set. Part of me doesn't want to believe the rumor because it sounds too good to be true, but if it is true, then I'm definitely getting it. Ace Trooper Productions is asking if I live with other people in my student accommodation, and if so, what do they think of my hobby? Now, I live on my own, although I do live in a student block of flats, but it's nice to have my own kitchen area and my own bathroom. I like to be in control of my space, and I would really stress out if I had people taking my things or leaving it in a mess, so that's good. I have told people on my course about my LEGO hobby and my YouTube channel, and they've all been really supportive, which is nice. Vader Brick Studios wants to know what the best LEGO Star Wars mock I've ever seen is, and this is a tough question. I've got two that just spring into my mind, the first being Rich Boy J's Starkiller base mock. I just think that's incredible. The attention to detail and accuracy is crazy in that one. And Solid Brick Studios' Darrow mock. I feel like that one's really underrated and the scale of that was just amazing. Brit Bricks has a great question. She wants to know what a typical day looks like for me and also if there's a supportive community at drama school. In answer to the second question, yes there is. People are very friendly and supportive and that's great. And then in answer to your first question, a typical day usually starts with me getting out of bed very early because I'm passionate about what I do. I love acting and musical theatre, so I get an early bus, I get into drama school, I then have a series of pretty intense classes that can be anything from acting to singing to dance to voice to movement, any one of those things, and that's a series of classes almost back to back. Before then I have lunch, and then I go straight back into classes, and then I leave in the evening. So sometimes I've got very long days. There's one day where I don't even finish classes until gone 8 in the evening, but then I'm back here, and then I pretty much crash after having something to eat. That's a typical day for me, so I love my weekends when I can relax. Brickington Official is asking what my favourite LEGO minifigure is, and of course it's got to be a Star Wars one. I'm going with Zeb Aurelius. Not only is that an incredibly detailed minifigure, especially considering it released a decade ago, that makes me feel old, but we'll move on from that. But also I have a lot of nostalgia for that minifigure. My brother got the Ghost set which that minifigure comes in, and I remember begging him for that minifigure. After years of begging him, he finally gave it to me, so I like that minifigure because of that too. Lego Timmy has a controversial question. Do I like helmet holes? This is referencing the debate in the LEGO community whether LEGO was right to add holes to the helmets of LEGO Clone Troopers, and my answer isn't a yes, but it's not a no either. Basically, I think helmet holes work really well if there's actually a need for an accessory. For instance, I think they work quite well for LEGO Phase 2 Commander Cody. Also, I think they worked really well for the 501st Specialist Clone Trooper minifigure. But then when you have clone troopers like the 212 Clone Trooper that don't have any accessories or a need for accessories there, they just look a bit ugly. So in an ideal world, LEGO would have some troopers with helmet holes and some without. That's how I would do it, but of course LEGO has their reasons for adding helmet holes anyway. Isaiah Build Stuff wants to know if I would join LAN. So for those who don't know, LAN stands for the LEGO Ambassador Network, so if I joined, the Brick Brit would become a recognised LEGO fan media, and this would be an incredible opportunity for the channel in my opinion. I'd love to work closer with LEGO. I've worked with LEGO on projects before, such as on autism awareness, and I had an amazing time doing that. I think given the opportunity to join LAN, I would definitely take it and it would be great news for the channel. Ezra's Imagination has a fun question, which is if I was a member of the LEGO design team and I could make one change to LEGO Star Wars, what would that change be? Now, there's no danger of me being a LEGO designer anytime soon, but if I could go to LEGO headquarters and make one change to LEGO Star Wars, I would say that for every bag in a LEGO Star Wars set, there has to be a minifigure included. This would mean we get way more LEGO Star Wars minifigures because in some sets I just feel like there aren't enough. I feel like everyone would appreciate that change. Thanos Productions has an acting focused question, which is what advice would I give to younger actors? Now of course at this point I'm not speaking from a successful acting career, although I'd love that one day. I've just got into drama school, but what I can tell you is this: take every opportunity you can get. Try and be in as many shows as possible. Meet as many people who are into acting as possible. Sometimes it's who you know and not what you know that makes the difference. This might be my favourite question of the episode from Flowbricks, which is if LEGO released a £5,000 LEGO Star Wars set based off a planet in the Star Wars universe, what would it be and why? Now, this is a crazy question because we haven't even had our first £1,000 LEGO Star Wars set. I don't know if that's even ever going to happen. I think it might, but that's a different question. Now, for £5,000, there's only one right answer in my mind, and that is the Death Star. I feel like that's the only planet, even though it's not really a planet, that they could include so much detail to actually make it worth that price tag. They could do so much with that, so many different rooms, and they could have a whole hangar with the Millennium Falcon in it. They would have to do some crazy stuff to meet that price tag. But the Death Star, I know it's not a planet, but that's what I'm going with. Subscribe and leave your questions for the next episode in the comments.